Welcome to Konoha Crush, a clandestine effort to exhaustively research and document events occurring in and around the village hidden in the leaves. I'm Ruby.
I'm Gwen. Hi.
Hi, hey Gwen. We're here. We're making the podcast again. It's another week.
Hi, we're making the podcast again. It's another week.
This one doesn't have a fancy number. This is just 21, and that's a pretty solid number, honestly. But
Hey, now we can be now we can be Buttercom Bunta.
Oh fuck yes.
Yeah.
Our podcast is officially going to join the Toad Yakuza.
Woohoo!
How has it been this past week? What have you been up to?
I've been all right. I don't know that I've really been up to much that's like podcast talkable.
Mm-hmm.
I should start like we have just hit that part of the season where we're just kind of in the middle of all the anime that we're watching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really want to get better at watching stuff that isn't seasonally airing stuff, so we'll have more to talk about.
Yeah.
But then, it's hard to do. I just also haven't been watching much anime like this past week. I watched 3 episodes of Naruto, and that's basically it. I wasn't even watching anything for like my. I wasn't even watching anything for our other show, right? So it was just.
Yeah.
It was just 3 episodes of Naruto, basically.
We watched a little bit of like stuff together with Gray.
That's true. I think we watched like an episode of Spy Family.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything to say about that.
Yeah,
you know what that show is.
It's still pretty good.
It's still Spy Family. There's no show airing that I have to like tell people what it is less. That's for me. Yeah, like I said, I haven't been doing a ton this past week. I did read a little bit of Berserk. I was spurred on by the announcement of like publication resuming on that.
Mm-hmm.
It hit me in a weird place because like I am a person who like when I saw that I was like, oh shit, I should get caught up before that. Not necessarily because I want to immediately go and like read the continuation. I feel like when I get caught up, I'll probably want to just sit on it a little bit, right? But I want to like hit the end of the stuff that Kentaro Miura did before there is like an ongoing discussion of the stuff that comes after. Like I want to be like engaging with Berserk on my own terms as much as I can, and like maybe I've already kind of lost in that front because I'm thinking about like reading like 120 chapters of Berserk a week just to like hit that goal. And that's like, I mean, that's going to be a fundamental change how I've been approaching reading the comics. So I really don't know, but I'm just in my head about that sort of thing all of the time. But like, hey, Berserk is still like a pretty good comic to read.
Yeah.
Yeah. I read. I'm at a point in the comic where the arcs have like very clear like defining things like in the volume. So it's like, hey, this is the Conviction arc Lost Children chapter that I read, which is just some really masterfully unpleasant comics in a lot of ways.
I'm not sure that I recognize stuff by name. It's been a long time since I've read like that part of Berserk.
That is where Guts goes to that one village that is like under attack by like the fake elves.
Right.
Yeah, which is like, getting back into the swing of like, okay, Guts is like the lone miserable wandering swordsman. How is he doing? He's doing fucking bad. We're gonna have this arc where he's just doing really, really fucking bad, right? Like he stumbles into this horrible situation that he can like basically only engage with this like really like unpleasant violence that kind of it doesn't really feel like it's fixing anything in any real way. It's just sort of it's a lot, right? And like you've got throughout that arc the whole time there's a new character who is like just sort of like watching Guts go through this and is just sort of like horrified by what he's doing, but also like kind of hoping that there is like some vision of like a different way to exist in the way that Guts is going through life, because she's looking at her life and she's like terrified of the prospect of like just growing up and like being a bad adult like all of the people in her lives. And it is just grim in a way that like I don't think is bad. Like I found it very compelling. But it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. That part of the comic is a lot.
Like I just kind of had to sit down after that for a while. I kind of had to like not read Berserk for a little bit after that, which maybe was going to throw like a monkey wrench in my plans to just tear through like the remaining 250 chapters of it that I have before like the new stuff starts coming out, because like it's kind of a daunting comic to read sometimes, both in the sense that, like, hey, it's really emotionally intense, and also, like, we talked about how there's an extent to which, like, seeing this sort of, like, incredible draftsmanship in that comic is, like, it's just kind of daunting and scary in its own right.
Yeah.
It's like a tremendous, like, outpouring of effort, like, onto the page in a way that just, for me at least, makes it a real undertaking to read, and not in the way that's, like, negative. It is just, like, I feel like I'm contending with the thing when I read it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that's my Berserk update. For the part of this podcast is like a Berserk podcast for however long that continues. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we get into our episodes?
No, you know what? I don't think so.
Okay, well, let's talk about some fucking Naruto.
Let's talk about some fucking Naruto. Episode 63. Hit it or quit it. The final rounds get complicated. Naruto's still standing. Neji's on the ground. Nobody expected this. The crowd erupts into cheering and applause. Everyone's super impressed and or bummed they haven't grown as much as Naruto has. Hinata's dad visits Neji in the medbay to talk about what happened to Neji's dad. Turns out he didn't want to kill his twin brother, but Hisashi wanted to die, because it meant choosing his own destiny and protecting the village and his brother's family. Neji resolves to grow stronger so that he never loses again.
Alright, yeah, so we're picking up really naturally from the end of the previous episode here. We had like a little bit of like people going, hey, this Naruto kid is pretty good in the audience, and now like the whole audience is just going wild for him.
You love to see it.
You love to see it. Like, we're happy for him. Like, none of them are really worried about the fact that he's using the fox chakra at all. I guess they're just like really happy that it's like, hey, you know, maybe this kid's like a good weapon for the village. We're super amped about that. It's just great for us.
Yeah.
The like that almost. It is always great when everybody's cheering for Naruto, right? Like it's still working for me. I'm still like happy to see the people be like just enthused about his victories. I also think it's very fun that Shikamaru is watching this and he's like, shit, I thought this kid was kind of a loser. Like I just sort of got a little bit closer to him, but now I realize he's like maybe a big deal. That's like it's just annoying to me. I don't want to deal with that.
I was this kid's friend because I thought we were both gonna flunk out together, but now he's like doing well. Fuck.
It's great. It's like a fun angle for him. I think that throughout these episodes, Shikamaru gets some pretty good stuff.
Uh-huh.
And this is the start of it. Down on the arena floor, Neji is lying on the ground, and Genma like just sort of like gets into the moment, and he's got like a thing to say to Neji. He's like, you got your whole bird metaphor, but you've got your whole bird metaphor about being a bird trapped in a cage, but even the trapped birds want to fly free. And if I was Neji, I would be like so pissed off about this. I'd be like, who the fuck are you? Why are you talking to me? You're not Gecko.
You're just here because they forgot Gecko died. Come on.
Like, you don't get to say shit to me. You just stand there and watch that. Fuck off.
God, so I learned some things about Genma.
All right, what did you learn about Genma?
I learned who his fucking squad was.
Who is his squad?
It was Guy and Ebisu.
Oh fuck! Just a really arbitrary collection of guys.
Yeah. And, their fucking teacher, their fucking Jonin was fucking Choji's dad.
Oh my god.
Right? Just a bunch of fucking
just whoever.
Just a bunch of fucking whoever, right?
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, no wonder fucking Guy is so fucking hungry for like a Kakashi rivalry, right? Like fucking
he wasn't getting that with fucking Genma or Ebisu.
Right?
You gotta go outside of your team sometimes. From there we get into like the scene that I think is going to be the meat of like our discussion of like this half of the episode, and like probably most of our discussion of this episode as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Which is Neji is like, he's lying in like the Like he's lying in a bed being tended to by some doctors. Hiyashi shows up and just shooes the doctors away, which, like, if I was Neji, I'd be very worried about that, but, like, it's okay. It's fine. Hiyashi is just here to, like, try and patch some things up, sort of smooth some things over. And, I guess textually he sort of succeeds.
Right.
I've got some hang-ups about all of this.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he comes up... Like, he comes to talk to Neji about, like, what happened... Like, what really happened with, Neji's dad and him when Neji's dad died. And, like... And, Neji is, like, pretty hesitant to hear about this first. And so Hiyashi pulls out a scroll that Hisashi wrote to hand to Neji. This is, like, a small change from the manga where, like, there wasn't, like, any, like, physical evidence, and, like, Neji was just sort of, like, won over by Hiyashi's earnestness, I guess. But, like, making this change does sort of, like, add to the texture of the scene in a weird way, where it very much feels like Hiyashi is, like, passing along Neji's dad's suicide note to him. Right? Like, that's just kind of the vibe it takes on to me.
A little bit, yeah.
Right? Because, Hiyashi gets into, like, what happened, how he was ready to die, but, Hisashi was, like, more ready to die in a way. Like, he was, like, ready to, like, put himself on the line like that, and, like, kind of more pressingly in a way, it seems, like, everybody else in the Hyuga clan, like, all of the elders were like, hey, no, Hiyashi, don't do this. We're gonna have your brother die. They're not gonna get the Byakugan. This is the better thing to do. Right? There is an extent to which it tries to kind of play it like, oh, Hisashi is really making this decision for himself, and he's like, he is making this choice. But, like, the thing is, it kind of seems like what everybody in the Hyuga clan but Hiyashi wants, so it doesn't really feel like any concerted rebellion against the clan as a whole.
No, yeah.
And his whole thing about, like, yeah, I just wanted to be able to make one decision in my life and, like, have the freedom to make any choice, and then he chooses to die. It's like, it is not a thing that really inspires confidence or, like, rounds out his, like, attempt to make this, like, a dedication to, like, caring about his brother or whatever. Like, it really just seems like he kind of wants to die, and, like, he's choosing to die for that reason, right? The texture the scene takes on to me is very much like Hiyashi's like, hey, Neji, it's okay. Like, I want you to understand, we didn't kill your dad. We just made him want to stop being alive anymore. Like, we just made the prospect of being alive, like, so unappealing for him that this is just where he wound up. It's very different.
Oh my god.
And, like, I get that Hiyashi doesn't want that. Like, I believe that he wasn't really, like, gunning for this. I believe he's not, like, making shit up. But I also believe he's just kind of a fucking coward for, like, continuing out his life in the same way that he has since then. Like, it doesn't really paint a better picture of him. It just, like, makes him a little sadder.
Alright. I'm putting on my Rewrite Naruto hat on.
Okay. It's been a while since we had the hat.
Yeah, it's been a while since we had the hat. This isn't, like, serious, but this is the most, like, fucking melodramatic turn I think could, like, possibly happen, right? So he shows up, and he's just like, I was ready to give my life or whatever. But my brother was, like, more eager or whatever, right? And then he wipes the makeup off of his forehead to reveal that he was Neji's dad all along, impersonating Hinata's dad.
Oh my god.
and they have this awful, tearful reunion.
And he was just being, like, a terrible dad to Hinata the whole time as, like, a fucking act of vengeance.
Yeah.
He was like, Neji, actually, the reason you know all these techniques is I was showing up to you, I was whispering to you into your ear as you slept the secrets of these techniques so that you would subconsciously master them.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I think it's fine if Neji can just do them.
Okay, all right. We're not like using this hypothetical joke to completely deflate all of the drama here. Just most of it.
Just most of it. Anyway, I think Naruto would be a better show if they did more soap opera bullshit.
Fuck. It would certainly be a different show.
You thought your father died, but it was actually the other twin. My boy.
Well, I've been noticing the big twins. There's like a bit in the flashback where Hiyashi's like, there's no way they'll be satisfied with Hisashi's body because like his Byakugan will deactivate, and they definitely want the Byakugan. And like one of the Hyuga is like, yeah, well if they wanted the Byakugan, they should have fucking asked for the Byakugan and not like a guy who has a twin. Fucking rookie mistake.
Yeah, fucking dipshits. Yeah, and apparently it fucking worked because we never hear about that conflict ever again.
Yeah. They were just like, rats. We've been foiled. We've got to, like, back to the drawing board. We'll try and, like, steal the Byakugan with a different ridiculous scheme next week.
Yeah.
Like, the Hyuga family is just dealing with this shit every week in, like, a completely different cartoon.
Yeah, he had a lot of twins.
I was suspecting that most of the episodes were not about sacrificing your twin, but, like...
Well, you know.
Like, this is one of those things that's always, like, kind of sat weirdly for me about Naruto, right? Like, when I first watched Naruto when I was young, I completely didn't parse this as, like, a resolution to the conflict, because it just seems like new bad information being unveiled. And so the whole time I was thinking, like, I wonder if they're ever going to, like, you know, resolve the conflict between the main and branch families as represented by, like, Neji and, like, Hiyashi, right? Because I didn't, as a child, realize that this was supposed to be doing that to an extent. And I don't think there's, like, more gestures to that we get, unless I'm forgetting something. And this just completely doesn't work for me as a resolution to that whole thing.
Yeah, no, because it's literally just this one dude being like, I didn't want my brother to die.
Yeah, and he kept doing all of the shit after that. Like, he didn't...
Yeah.
He didn't change anything.
He didn't fucking change anything. Exactly.
But, you know, Neji, in spite of everything, manages to come to, like, a slightly positive conclusion of just kind of being like, yeah, I won't lose to anybody ever again. He just makes, like, a shonen character declaration to, you know, the world, and...
I have no idea what that fucking means in this context, what it has anything to do with his family or whatever. Like, it is...
No, it's not really, it doesn't feel the most connected now that you bring it up, I've got to say.
Uh-huh.
But, like, it is, like, a bow you could put on a character to be like, see? He's better now. He's gonna, like, keep fighting. He's gonna keep trying. And, like, you know, I guess I'm glad that he wasn't, like, thrown into despair by this on some level. I'm just not really sold, I suppose.
Yep. Yeah, right? Like, no. It would have been so easy if he just, like, decided to try and make his own way in life, right?
Yeah.
To like, actually, like, test the bounds of the curse and, like, try and live his life making his own fucking decisions to an extent and finding a way that he can be happy with that.
Yeah,
right?
And, like, if he actually made, like, any gesture towards, like, hey, I know I can't take the curse away, but, like, I want you to, like, try and live your own life, and I'll, like, stop trying to, like, interfere with that. Like, I know you're good at what you're doing. Like, if there was anything other than just, like, hey, I'm really sorry, please understand that I'm very sorry. Was it, like, no real action beyond that? I don't know. I just...
It's just not very good.
Yeah, you know, and I would be... I would love to be pleasantly surprised by there being, like, more with this later that I've forgotten about, but, like, I really don't think there is. You know, we'll see, I guess.
We'll see. You ready to move on to the next part?
I am, yeah.
Okay. The next match is supposed to be Gaara and Sasuke, but Sasuke still hasn't arrived. The Hokage decides to disqualify Sasuke and move on with the tournament, but the Kazekage encourages him to wait longer, since the Gaara vs Sasuke match is the one everyone was most excited to see. The Hokage decides to delay his match and continue with the next fight. It's supposed to be Shino vs Kankuro, but Kankuro doesn't want to give up his secrets before the real fight starts, and he withdraws. Tamari glides down into the ring, since her match would be next. Shikamaru is bummed he has to fight already.
So, I think one of my favorite things about this set of episodes, and, like, this section of this episode, is that, You know, with the knowledge of having read Naruto before, I know that the Kazekage here is Orochimaru impersonating the Kazekage.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of makes everything he says here seem like he's just having a fucking blast. Like, he's just fucking toying with the third Hokage. He's like, yeah, this guy doesn't know shit. He's all worried about where Orochimaru is. He doesn't know that he's 10 feet to his left. I'm just gonna fucking, like, say all this shit. Like, oh, I bet you wish you knew where Sasuke is. Oh, yeah, we really gotta have this match happen. Everybody's gonna be so sad if the match doesn't happen between Sasuke and Gaara. It's amazing. He's just being a shithead. It's beautiful.
It's so good.
I love that guy.
I love Orochimaru so much.
Yeah, like in this sort of like period of limbo, while we're like everybody's like waiting to see if Sasuke's gonna show up and like waiting to see if the next fight's gonna be called off. The show is like still doing this like very strange bit where it kind of plays coy about whether or not Gaara killed Sasuke, as if we have any reason to believe that would happen.
Yeah, can you imagine if Sasuke was just a corpse that never showed up?
It would be very funny. Like it would be like a very funny like disregard for like everything that like I expected about like how this sort of show works. But like also it wouldn't happen because like Naruto is just extremely the thing that it is. And
yeah,
you don't just kill Sasuke off screen.
So yeah, you give him a worse haircut off screen, but we can't talk about that yet.
We can't talk about that yet. Man, so is ready to like cancel the match, and then Orochimaru is just like, hey, no, you really shouldn't do it. Everybody's gonna think you fucking suck shit if you don't. Which like is probably true, right?
Yeah.
Like if you got one Uchiha and he's just not showing up, it's gonna be a bad look for you. Everybody's just gonna leave it and be like, damn, I guess the Leaf has really lost it. It's fucking over for those guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like even without Sasuke, the Leaf has a pretty nice showing so far.
Yeah, but like nobody really cares about that. They want to see fucking Sasuke.
I know. I want to see Sasuke too. It's been a minute. I miss him.
Yeah, it's been like I'm trying to think. Like it's been like 20 some episodes since Sasuke was like last on screen and conscious and actively doing things. I feel like it's been a grip.
Yeah, it would have been like basically since his fight with what's his face,
Yoroi?
The Suckman.
Yeah, the Suckman. I think it's Yoroi, but that might be the other guy. The other guy's Misumi, right?
Yeah, I don't fucking remember. Who cares?
Okay, who cares?
Yeah, and that was forever ago. Come on.
That was a while ago. And so we sort of get the from there we sort of get the progression of like, yes, we're postponing the Sasuke versus Gaara match because everybody wants to see it, and like because we get the sense that like Sasuke fighting Gaara specifically is very important for the plan to go off, and also like Kankuro is like, yeah, I can't do my match because my puppet very specifically and its abilities are like very important for the plan to go off, which kind of is starting to give me the sense that maybe their plan relies on a few too many factors to be good.
Yeah, it sounds like they're coming up with a plan, and they came up with like a very complicated plan, and we're like very impressed with how complicated their plan was.
Right, like they saw like the matchups for the finals, and they're like, all right, fuck yeah, Sasuke and Gaara, that's gonna be when we make our move, and like we can't fucking communicate with our guys about when to make their move outside of that, so we just really fucking better be we just really fucking better make sure that match happens, no matter what. I really hope Gaara doesn't go and kill Sasuke. And I'm also like trying to remember like what is Kankuro's puppet Crow capable of that is so essential to like this plan going down. And like maybe we never find out because like if I remember correctly, he just kind of gets chumped out by Shino later in the arc. So maybe like that's why it goes wrong in the first place.
I mean, I think objectively Shino is a really bad matchup for Kankuro. Right? Because like you just put fucking bugs in the puppet, and then like what are you gonna do?
I mean, we will like getting ahead of ourselves, but we will learn that the answer is basically fucking nothing.
Yeah. Right, and I think there's an extent to which Kankuro knows this.
But like he phrased it so specifically as like, yeah, I can't reveal the secret of my puppet's mechanism. And it's like, what is it gonna do? What is the big deal? I want to know. I want to know why Crow is so important, like able to like play this key role in like taking down the whole Leaf Village.
I bet that little shithead's just being dramatic.
He could just be being dramatic. He's kind of that guy. Yeah, like the last thing I want to mention in this episode is I just really enjoy the sort of escalating comedy of like Shikamaru being like more and more annoyed about like how he's like booked in this tournament and about how his match keeps getting moved up. He's like constantly being jerked around by like how many guys he's gonna have to fight and who he's going to be fighting. And then, like, on top of it all, he's like made friends with a fucking shonen protagonist he's realized too late, and he just gets like fucking pushed into the arena.
Yeah,
it's like a really good like just escalation of the ways in which he's just very put up on by this whole situation. It's really funny.
Do you think he's annoyed that his match is moved up because he knows that the later his match is, the more advantage he has?
Oh, God. Like, maybe he knows that. Maybe he's just not even thinking about that until he's down there. I'm like generally choosing to take Shikamaru like very at face value with what he presents. I don't think like in spite of being like the big secret strategy guy, I don't think he is very I don't think he's trying to play tricks on the audience who are like reading his thoughts.
That's maybe fair. Do you want to go ahead and move on to the next episode then?
Yeah, sure.
Episode 64, Zero Motivation, The Guy with Cloud Envy. Shikamaru shows some early reluctance to participate in the fight. Tamari rushes in before the match officially starts, and he finally moves to avoid the blow. Shikamaru retreats into the shade, but Tamari knows better than to pursue him, and hits him with her wind scythe jutsu. He sends out a shadow possession, but Tamari keeps her distance, marking his maximum range with a line in the dirt. Shikamaru strikes his focus pose, and Asuma starts gushing to Kurunai about how smart his kid is, saying he has an IQ of over 200.
So I guess before like I talk about this episode proper, I want to like there's something I want to mention, which is that like one of the chapters that this episode adapts also contains like a character popularity poll. Like I'm not going to read through all of the results, but there are a few like outlier things that I kind of want to remark on. The first is that Iruka is at number 3, one position above Sasuke, which is kind of amazing.
Okay, awesome.
The Iruka fans are really out there.
Hell yeah.
Next, Gecko is at number 8. F's in the chat.
Fucking F's in the chat.
I don't know how he got there, but like good for him. Gamabunta is number 9. Congratulations to our fucking boy for making the top 10. We love that guy.
Yeah, and, I mean, like, literally criminal. He's not in, like, number 1 spot, but, like, hey, I get it.
And then, like, in a very funny, like, cosmic joke, Shikamaru doesn't place that highly, like, in the chapter that starts the fight that makes him a popular character. Like, just barely just barely missed the boat and getting votes here.
Wow. That's pretty good. That's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny. But anyway, so Shikamaru has like fallen into the arena. Everybody immediately starts throwing garbage at him. They fucking hate that he's here. They hate seeing him. He's not Sasuke. He doesn't have any cool tricks.
He has like one cool trick.
He has one cool trick, but they you know, it's not like a trick the audience is going wild for, like in terms of like what his jutsu is.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see it and you're like, boo, do another one. But like, you know, Shikamaru's sort of like lying on the ground of the arena. He's like, I don't fucking want to do this. I was about to like drop out and not do this fight. But like, I guess now that I'm here, I can't fucking lose to a girl. I hate women so fucking much.
Literally, the dub for this is so fucking genius.
What is the dub for this?
Like, the only appreciable difference is that he uses the word female. And I just think that's very...
Oh my god, he would! Like, you know, he doesn't have a good role model. Like, we've seen his dad, but like, come on, man. You gotta respect women a little bit.
You gotta respect women a little bit. Come on,
you gotta try a little bit harder than this.
Like, we all know you're gay. But you can't be one of those, like, weird misogynist gays. Come on.
Like, I'm sure he'll get over it eventually. Like, he'll bond with Tamari over their shared love of mesh clothing and they'll become each other's beards.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, in spite of the misogyny, I think Shikamaru is making, like, a bit of a better showing here. Like, it leans into, like, the aspect of him that I always forget about, which is that, like, he's just kind of, like, a nimble shithead. He's showing off, like, a little bit. He's, like, making a bit out of it. Like, when Tamari, like, almost bashes him over the head with her fan, he's just, like, hanging off the wall from, like, a couple of kunai that he stabbed into it.
Yeah.
Which is, like, nobody would do that unless they were, like... trying to be kind of an asshole about it. And he's just like, like scurrying around throughout this fight as like Tamari's like trying to like hit him with wind.
Yeah, I mean, like I wish he was better about girls, but like it's fun. I like seeing him like figure stuff out and like do his little like tricks and stuff. It's like it's fun. It's neat.
This is like a much better fight than the one with Keen, where it was just like, yeah, she can do exactly enough to like set up the trick and like has nothing else going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's also like a fun detail about Shikamaru we learn here, where like he's like sitting like under one of the trees and just kind of hiding, and he's like thinking about how he only became a ninja because he thought it would be fun. Like, I always thought I'm kind of pegged for, like, a guy who just got into it because, like, yeah, like, our family does this, like, the Yakamichi and the Nara and the, Yamanaka, we always have, like, 3 ninja every generation, you gotta go do it. But, like, I guess he just sort of, like, at some point convinced himself it would be fun when he was, like, way younger and, like, way more optimistic about life.
Yeah, I mean, it's why I became a ninja.
Yeah, I mean, fair. Hey, you're having fun, right?
More or less.
Okay. Hey, that's great to hear. I love that. I love that for you.
Yeah. How about you? You having fun?
I'm having an alright time right now.
Yeah, okay. I mean, these little meetings are always like the highlight of my week, but like, I guess the actual ninja stuff's not too bad either.
We cut to the stands where like is getting like really pumped up about like Shikamaru fighting. Like she's decided that like this is going to be the moment where Shikamaru turns his life around and stops being a fucking loser. Like I guess she's sort of right like on a meta narrative sense, but like it is interesting to see like here on the advent of like cool Shikamaru, right? Like where he becomes like a cool guy and like necessarily just a jokes guy like he is for a lot of this. There's still sort of like the comedy character's aura that sort of like surrounds Team 10, right? Like just by being near this scene, like Sakura goes from like being like worried in like a genuine played for drama way to like worried about Sasuke in a way where like if somebody mentions Sasuke, she just gets like very despondent in this like exaggerated comedic way.
Yeah. I want to be a character who brings that energy to things.
Yeah.
I want to be someone who just like makes all of the everything around me like more like light, more of like a joke version of the thing that it is,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty good.
I like Chicken Dog saying something gay. I'm sorry. I was too afraid to say on the podcast.
Well, I'm putting that admission on the podcast.
God damn it! No. I was like, oh, Gwen, you always bring like a real light to my life. You make me really happy.
Fucking gay.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess you do with that what you will. I don't know if you're leaving that in or not.
Yeah, I am. I'm leaving that whole conversation in.
Shit.
Fucking, you get the worst of both of it.
This is gonna be so embarrassing. Now everybody knows I love you.
Love you too.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really get into like Shikamaru's strategies in this half of the episode, but we do get like he goes into his strategizing pose, and Asuma is like he is finally like engaged with the kids he's teaching in a real way. He's like, yeah, Shikamaru is actually awesome. Kurenai, I don't know if you knew about this, but he's like he's got like a brain genius IQ. I do think we get like a really funny picture of Shikamaru here as this kid who is constantly bothering his teacher to play shogi with him, and like knowing he can basically always be his teacher. Like he's like always looking for like a kind of easy opponent.
Yeah.
And like I think that like Shikamaru's IQ is so high, it's just like whatever. It's like lame to know how high a character's IQ is, but I do think it's pretty funny that like Asuma had to like trick him into taking a test.
Mm-hmm. Cause fucking Shikamaru doesn't want to know how high his IQ is.
Yeah, like that's just gonna make people expect shit out of him.
Yeah.
I think that's about what I had to say about this half of the episode.
Alright, let's move on to the real shit. Tamari sends another wind scythe his way, and he ducks behind a tree. He sends another shadow possession and surprises her with an extended range. Temari calls out that he was stalling for time, waiting for the shadows in the arena to get longer. Then, the parachute Shikamaru made out of his jacket floats overhead, further extending the range. Temari jumps back to keep her distance. She ducks behind her fan, planning to create a diversion with a clone when she freezes, caught by the shadow possession. Shikamaru sent it into the tunnel Naruto dug and out the other side. Everyone's super impressed. Shikamaru gives up. He says he's basically out of chakra and doesn't want to bother finishing the match.
Alright. So, yeah, I think that, like, having seen this, I, like, completely understand, like, yeah, this is the moment where, like, Shikamaru becomes, like, a character that people like, right? Like, his fight with Keen, as we discussed, was pretty fucking lame. But, like, I think the tricks here, and, like, the setup for the tricks, like, are really... I don't know, like, they work really well, right? Like, well, like, once you see what's going on, it's, like, pretty natural to, like, figure out how it's going on, and I think it's, like, a really smart thing to, like, pull off, like, to build off of something that happened, like, in a previous fight in a way that, like, didn't instantly read as, like, setup for this, right?
Yeah.
From their perspective, like, okay, yeah, Shikamaru has, like, a strategy and he's doing it. I do really buy it. I guess I am, like, a little frustrated that, like, Temari doesn't really get the opportunity to, like, put pressure on Shikamaru in a real way, right? Like, in spite of the fight, like, ostensibly being about, like, yeah, Shikamaru is, like, he seems like he's outmatched and he has to, like, use strategy to win. Like, she's really just kind of put on the back foot and she spends a lot of time, like, waiting around. And I do wish that this fight gave her, like, more room to, like, have her own, like, strategy she was deploying, especially because, like, there's people in the audience going, like, oh, yeah, she seems like she's a good strategist, too. And, like, she gets a plan that she's, like, going to try and act on, but, like, it's only, like, when it's too late for her to really
yeah,
I think, like, again, like, it's like a better showing than Keen, obviously, because she, like, immediately, like, figures out what's up with Shikamaru's jutsu. She has, like, a good sense of how to avoid it until, like, it does some, like, Shikamaru does, like, some like, surprising shit, right? But I don't know, I wish she got to be, like, a more active participant in this fight.
Totally. You know what? You know what one small trick would make Shikamaru, like, fucking unbeatable?
What's that?
Just, like, one Earth-style jutsu that just, like, makes a bunch of pillars appear on the ground.
Yeah. But no, he's really committed to, like, knowing one jutsu, so... you know what would be actually, like... I'm thinking about some shit. You know what would actually be pretty good? Like, if they really leaned into the fact that, like, yeah, Temari and Shikamaru are both, like, strategists, and like, you know, that they actually, like, bothered to, like, write, like, a real relationship between them and made them, like, a terrifying battlefield couple where you just fucking fall into their, like, awful shitty tricks all of the time.
Yeah.
Like you see who you're up against, like, ah, shit, this is gonna be, like, really fucking annoying. Like, it's going to be hard, and also I'm going to, like, be so pissed off when they win in some dumb bullshit way I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, and like fucking Temari shit is so easy for setting up stuff for Shikamaru shit, because she could just, like, put a bunch of fucking kites in the sky or something.
Yeah, right. She can, like, move around her kites by controlling the wind, or she can just, I don't know, fucking fly around in her fan to create, like, a shadow point thing. And she could do all sorts of things, you know.
Yeah.
If they bother to, like, develop her, like, tool set as, like, a character that, like, does things in fights and, like, you know, played her also as, like, a strategy genius character, that could be, like, a really fun thing. There's a lot of things I wish Naruto could do.
Mm-hmm. No, actually what happens is that her character develops into Shikadai's mom.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Temari just, like, fucking fuck all. Like, as soon as we see that Shikamaru knows how to take cover behind a tree, Temari is just like, well, I can't do anything else.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer, right? Like I really wish that her, like, alleged strategic acumen led to something behind, like, okay, well, I'm going to wait.
What if she was just putting constant pressure with her wind size on that tree and was just like, it's going to come down eventually?
Yeah.
That would have been so cool, because then it's Shikamaru, like, doing the jutsu from, like, behind cover that's, like, being chipped away at.
Yeah, or like, what if she, like made more aggressive moves, but, like, did them while being not on the ground, which is something that we know she can do.
Yeah. She can just fly.
Yeah, like, I guess I don't know how, like, the shadow paralysis jutsu, like, interacts with somebody who is flying, but, like,
yeah,
like maybe it doesn't actually help.
Yeah, does it
flying, but, like,
does it have to touch you, or does it have to touch your shadow?
And if she's like, and if she's like got her fan beneath her, does touching the fan shadow count as touching her shadow, or is she just like protected?
Well, her shadow would be on the fan.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So she's got shit she could have done. God damn it.
God damn.
Okay. Again, I still think Shikamaru's tricks are cool, but like, come on, I want more for Tamari.
Yeah.
You got Romy Park playing somebody, you just give her nothing to do. It's fucking disgraceful.
Yeah. Fucked up, honestly.
Anyway, like Shikamaru gets Tamari and he just like walks over and is like, "Yeah, I'm fucking out." There's like a there's like a fun moment in the stands where like Ino is shocked and like Choji's just like, "Yeah, I mean, of course, that's who this guy is. I know my fucking bro. I know what he's like." Like I think it's a pretty fun moment, but like I don't like. I think it is too much. Like, it is too much trying to make Shikamaru cool if he's like, yeah, I had the next 200 moves planned out, but I was just out of chakra. And it's like, no, I don't know. That's fucking lame.
Yeah, fucking...
Like scale it back a little bit.
It would have been so much cooler if he was just like, yeah, I don't really have a finishing move here. Like, bye.
Yeah, like, I didn't learn the finishing moves. I'm like a team fighting kind of guy. Sorry. I just, I don't really want to get, like, win cuts. I've shown what I can do. I'm just gonna go like chill. I'm gonna rest in the stands. I'll see you all later. And I think that like it leans a little too hard on trying to make him cool in a way that just makes him like less cool.
Yeah.
But that's what I had to say about this episode.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Episode 65. Dancing Leaf, Squirming Sand. Everyone's getting excited about the Sasuke match again, but he's still not here. The Kazekage encourages the Hokage to wait another 10 minutes. Guy and Rock Lee finally arrive at the arena and learn that Naruto kicked Neji's ass. Time limit's up. But last second, Sasuke and Kakashi appear in the arena, with Sasuke sporting a cool new look.
Okay, so before we get into this episode, I'm kind of like... I want to talk about Shinji Sato, who is the storyboarder on this episode. But like, part of the reason I want to talk about Shinji Sato is that I neglected to mention that he was the storyboarder on our first episode last week. Like, when I was talking about that episode, I talked a lot about, like, how the action was, like, super readable, and, like, forgot to talk about how, like, there's, like, a clear thing that comes through in his boards where, like, there's a lot of, like, really, like, dramatic camera movements. Like, there's a real sense of, like, how the camera is being positioned and, like, moved about as, like, as it is, like, conveying the action in that board that I thought was really interesting. And there's, like, a little bit of that in this episode, but, like, not as much because, I mean, this is, like, a way more subdued episode, both in terms of, like, not a lot of, like, action stuff happens, and also... in terms of, like, animation resources, like, this is a very awkward-looking episode in a lot of ways from, like, one of the less accomplished teams in, like, the rotation of, like, Naruto staff at present, I would say. But, like, I did watch out Shinji Sato because I, like, forgot to do that, like, last week, and this wound up presenting an opportunity to do so.
Okay.
And I do think there's, like, some stuff in this episode that does actually, like, wind up looking pretty good in spite of the limited resources.
Yeah, totally.
But anyway... at the start of this episode, everybody is like, well, not everybody, but like a lot of the like, you know, Jonin who are watching are just sort of like going over in their head like, hey, so Shikamaru is like pretty fucking cool, right? I remembered it being sort of like a surprise upset thing at the end of the arc where it was like, yeah, actually only Shikamaru passed. But like, they basically just spell it out very directly here. Like everybody's just like, yeah, Shikamaru's the only guy who's got a fucking chance out of anybody we've seen. It's laying on a little bit thick. Like the scene goes on for quite a while.
Yeah.
Like it's okay. You already put him over. It's all right. You can stop.
He already thought 200 moves ahead. Like it's fine.
It's fine. Please try a little less hard. He should suck a little bit. Like it's so important. It's so important that he kind of sucks if people think he sucks.
Yeah.
I do like that Naruto is just like really pissed that Shikamaru gave up though. Like he just like jumps down into the arena like a complete disregard for like whatever regulations there are about that. He's just fucking down there. He is yelling at him. I think that like the Naruto and Shikamaru dynamic is really fun where like Shikamaru just has this new friend who like he is like realizing he is like increasingly like unprepared to deal with it in any real life, but he's still like, yeah, I mean I still kind of get along with him. Like he's fine. I just like I just don't match his vibes really, and I like the ways in which like we get the sense that like Naruto's like very straightforward shonen protagonist outlook is like kind of a bad fit for the tuning exams, right? Like I think that is like a fun way to position Naruto's character, even though I was just talking about how like everybody was like laying it on too thick for like how much they're like hyping up Shikamaru.
Mm-hmm. So,
What's up?
What I think is really fun about Naruto's basically brand new relationship with Shikamaru.
Mm-hmm.
Sasuke's been gone a while. Naruto has to start thinking about maybe having some other rivals.
Oh my god.
And you know what? Shikamaru is just not fucking doing it, huh?
Like, can you imagine if like Sasuke's just fucking dead in the mountains because Gaara killed him, and like Shikamaru is the one guy who passes the Chunin exams, and Naruto's like, okay, it's got to be him. And Shikamaru just can't fucking stand it. He's like if you beat me at shogi, then like then I'll consider it.
And then it just becomes a fucking shogi anime.
Yeah. Yeah, and Naruto has to be like the like underdog guy who doesn't like know much in like an entirely different arena. He's like just traveling down to the different hidden villages, like entering shogi, like beginner shogi tournaments and shit. This would be great.
Also, like they're giving Sasuke so much leeway to show up.
They're giving Sasuke so much leeway. They play it up in the anime, like both the like 10 minutes extension that he gets and like the countdown to if he doesn't show up before this, he's like done for, are like new to the anime as they drag the scene out. Like they really play it up, and like everybody in the crowd's getting like super fucking unruly. Like I'm starting to like think like maybe it's actually just like a very good idea to wait for Sasuke, because then you look at like a rowdy sports fan riot about people being mad they didn't see Sasuke fight, except they're all ninjas, and then your village is fucked.
That's Orochimaru is fucking stupid.
Yeah, I should have just done that. I should have just been like, yeah, actually, you're right. Call the match off. We're gonna let like 500 angry ninjas from like a bunch of different countries just duke it out in the streets and see what happens.
Oh man, I'd participate. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It'd be a blast.
I'd just start wrecking buildings.
Yeah, I believe in you. I wouldn't really be wrecking buildings, perhaps, but like I'd have your back, you know.
Well, I'm trying to like, you know, hurt the leaf too, right?
Oh
like,
yeah, you're right. Yeah, I guess that's something you're invested in.
Yeah.
I mean, in the midst of everybody waiting for Sasuke, we get like a scene of like, oh shit, somebody's arriving dramatically at the arena, but like it's not Sasuke, it's Rock Lee. And I'm like, hey, I love seeing Rock Lee. It's great. I love that like Rock Lee hears about Naruto beating Neji, and like, you know, he's gonna be bummed a little bit later, but like in this moment he's like, he did it. Like he's just pumped for his friend. He's a nice kid. I love Rock Lee.
Yeah, I wish Rock Lee could have seen that fight.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Rock Lee would have been a great audience member in that fight. And then Kakashi and Sasuke show up.
They like teleport into the arena in like a whirlwind of CG leaves. They show up. It's like the big moment. We haven't seen Sasuke in like 25 episodes. Like it's been so long since this like popular and central character just showed up. He's got a new look. He looks fucking bad.
He looks fucking awful. Like,
he looks
like the clothes aren't so bad.
The clothes aren't so bad. I think it's like probably his weakest outfit. But like you know, it's like it doesn't have enough to like break up like the all black thing it's got going on. I don't think.
Well, actually, mm-hmm. if you'll pay attention,
yeah,
the black on his hair and the black on his shirt are like way different, and it looks horrible.
Yeah, that's not helping him out. And his hair is bad.
His hair is so bad.
Like it is just like it is the combination of the fact that, like, this is probably Sasuke's worst look, and also like this isn't a very good looking episode, unfortunately.
His hair grew like 4 inches in the 1 month he was away. It's like
it is a it is a really unfortunate combination of the fact that the look is bad and that like this episode has shots where he looks like he has the widest fucking neck in the world. It's
why'd they show that?
Like it's not a great showing for him.
He looks so scary.
He's been training his neck muscles nonstop for a month in the mountains, and now he's like,
why?
He's trying to become a fucking grappler Baki character.
God damn. Oh my god. We can't keep we can't keep talking about his weird neck.
We can't keep talking about his weird neck. We gotta move on. Do you have anything else you want to say about this half of the episode?
No. Let's move on. Naruto's fucking pumped about Sasuke being here, and they have a cute little exchange where Sasuke thinks about wanting to fight Naruto, and Naruto just tells him outright. Lee's having a hard time with the cool people he wants to fighting each other. Naruto and Shikamaru head back to the stands. In the hall leading to the arena, a couple of grass ninja approach Gaara wanting to rig the match in Sasuke's favor. They don't survive. Shikamaru and Naruto saw the whole thing, and stand there in silence as Gaara walks past them to the arena, ignoring them completely. Shikamaru is sure that if they ran into Gaara up there any earlier, they would have died.
Okay. Yeah, the first time I watched this episode, I was so distracted by how bad Sasuke looked that I wasn't really even thinking about the interactions he was having with Naruto. I was just kind of aghast. But like the second time through, when I was like watching it before, rewatching it again today to like refresh my memory and like, you know, do like a second pass of my notes, I was like I really enjoyed this scene with like Sasuke and Naruto. I think it's great. Like, it is maybe the most that these two ever get to be like mostly on like the same footing and like feeling good about being rivals with each other that they are going to get to be for like a long time.
Yeah,
it's just like a vision of like, hey, yeah, this is like how they could be like good friends to each other in a way that like unfortunately circumstances intervene on.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm happy they can have this now. They need it now.
Yeah, I mean, like, for as many complaints as I have with Naruto, I've like never really had like any problem being invested in like the relationship between Sasuke and Naruto. I think it is like, again, like whenever it's on screen, like even in the parts of the comic where like it's not on screen very much, I think it is just very like consistent and like compelling, and like I think that like bringing them like back on screen together after this gap and just like immediately being like back in it and like being like friends is in like a way they haven't even necessarily been able to do before now is like a great testament to that, I think.
Yeah. I mean, like, seeing rivals like that, it's just always a good time. I love that shit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we get like some pans over the crowd, everybody's like going apeshit for Sasuke being here. Everybody's just like pointing and hollering. They're like so excited to see Sasuke. We get like a few little like scenes throughout the crowd. Like there's a bit where like Ino is like just immediately like super hyped for Sasuke being here, and like Choji's like, damn, she's so fickle. She already stopped caring about Shikamaru. And like, Choji, don't worry about it. This is like only beneficial to Shikamaru. He hates women.
No, I think Choji wants Shikamaru to be annoyed about shit.
Okay, all right.
I don't think Choji fucking cares what Shikamaru wants. Are you kidding me?
I think they're like kind of friends, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're friends, but they're like, you know, I just don't think Choji's trying to play wingman right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I mean, at the very least, I would find it very funny if I like, if I was the reason one of my friends had like an annoying person in their life.
I would be like mortified on some level, but like, hey, we're different people. That's all right.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's super happy except for like Lee, who's like super bummed out, right? It's like it's a sad moment for Lee. I feel bad for the kid, right? Like there is a real sense of like, you know, he was happy Naruto won earlier, but like it's really settling in that it's really settling in that like, you know, all the shit he wanted to do is like maybe just out of his reach forever. All of the people he thought were his like peers and like rivals were just kind of like, oh, they're gonna like go past him now, and like he just doesn't feel like he has any like way to like get back on that level of like even being able to like even being able to exist in that space because like he's been told it's impossible. It's like, it's sad. I feel bad for the kid.
Yeah,
Rock Lee. Yeah,
but also, hey, Rock Lee, cheer up! You just clenched your fist and your knuckles bled. That's fucking sick as hell. like you got this.
Oh my god, I really love your perspective on things. You really find the bright side. You know, Gaara is getting like increasingly agitated this entire time. This is like another way that this episode kind of struggles. There's like a lot of shorthands where like Gaara's feeling like kind of like violent and twisted that the show falls back on. A lot of times they go for like these very like dramatic, like extreme camera angles, like these close-up on his face where like he's looking a little distorted and weird, and this episode is tragically not pulling it off.
The sphere.
He's just got a weird orb head in some of these shots. Like they just drew him kind of fucked up and they linger on it for a little while, and it's not the same effect.
No.
But anyway, like Gaara's about to like go down to the arena, and like Kankuro's like, oh shit, is he like too sicko mode right now? Should I say something? Should I like tell him not to do murders? And like Tamari's like, no, dude, don't do it. Just don't even bother with it. Just
Literally, the next person who says a fucking word to Gaara is gonna be a corpse.
Yeah, and like, hey, that pans out. Gaara is like walking down to the arena, and he's approached by two fucking randos. These two guys are like, they are in the manga, but when they first appeared in this episode, I was like, who the fuck are these people? I was like trying to remember if there was like some anime original plotline, because they like the way that they like show up throughout this episode and are like interspersed throughout it and like have this like dramatical musical thing that plays whenever they show up feels like so on the nose and extreme that I was like, these guys are fake. These aren't real. Who the hell are these people?
Who the hell are these guys? Well, they're
fucking dead is what they are. I think that like the scene of Gaara just like fucking these guys up in the hallway is like, there's like limitations to the animation of it in the way that a lot of this episode is struggling with. But I think there's like some really like smart framing, right? Like we get like the shot of like we get a shot of like Shikamaru and Naruto like walking up the stairs, and like their heads are like sort of like barely visible in frame throughout as they're like turning back and like seeing Gaara in the hallway. There's like some real like fun way that the shots sort of like play with depth and like make the hallway seem like bigger and more imposing than it is, especially as like Gaara starts going like sicko mode and like crushing the guys. In spite of some pretty wonky drawings, there's like some moments where it's like, oh shit, this is like still pretty effective.
Yeah, when you were talking about the storyboarder earlier, you said that there was still some stuff in this episode that like looked pretty good. Like one shot in this scene in particular like came to mind, and it was when the first guy was like first grabbed, and like he's like surrounded by sand and stuff, and he has like his like head and some limbs coming out and stuff, and like I don't know, it's just like a nicely shot little like moment that stuck in my head.
Yeah, and like there's like another one I like after that where it's like a lot of this scene is like framed sort of like in such a way that like you're aware of like where the entrance to where the exit of the tunnel is, but then like Gaara like breaks out all of the lights in it, and like it's super dark, and it is like this shot like facing back into the tunnel at like a weird angle, and the guy is like running away from like this massive encroaching wall of sand. So the tunnel just seems like the biggest, most inescapable place in the world. It's like it's doing some fun stuff for like the sense of space you get of this scene that like manages to come through.
I have something to say about the glass breaking. So we know that Gaara can just like fuck up sand in the vicinity from the hourglass. Does that extend to glass?
That's a good question. Like, maybe. I feel like that's like a really good asset for him as like a scary murder child, to just be able to like make light bulbs explode nearby. Like, if he doesn't know how to do that, he should learn.
I mean, he did it.
Yeah.
So like,
I guess he did do it. But like, was he like just shooting like little sand particles at the light bulbs really fast, or was he just like was just doing that shit with his mind?
I don't know. It's really hard to say.
Really hard to say.
I didn't have my fucking slow-mo camera out there. I wasn't filming.
I think it's lacking on the job. Unbelievable.
Fucking... Okay, you know that Orochimaru doesn't pay us enough to afford one of those motherfuckers.
You're right. I'm sorry. Naruto and Shikamaru are scared because they just saw Gaara extremely murder some people, and then the episode ends. We get a new ending. There's not a lot to say about it, because it is a single shot that it slowly zooms in on of Naruto standing on a building. But like, it's there. Yeah,
there's like a little bit of parallax going on with the zoom in, right? There's like there are two separate planes, the foreground of the ledge of Naruto standing on a Naruto, and then the background, and then the sky. And the most movement we see is one time some birds fly.
Yeah, it's not like we're free from like the weird paper doll style that we've been dealing with the last couple of times, but there's just not a lot going on with this one to say, Yep. The song's like all right, but I don't like as much as the previous one, because there's not a part where I can kind of like sing along it because I know the words well enough. And it just doesn't have the same energy, even if it's like it is.
It's like a little bit more of like a somber song too, right? Like it's a little bit like
right. It's like still in the list of like Naruto ending songs that I like, think about sometimes, but it's not like super high up there. It's just there.
Yeah,
that's all right.
It's normal.
That's normal. But those are our episodes this week, right? Unless you had more you wanted to say?
No, yeah, that's it. What are we watching next week?
Next week, we are watching episodes 66, 67, and 68 of Naruto.
Nice. Hey, did you like listening? Me too. So, here's the thing. If you want to support the podcast, check out our Patreon. You get access to episodes up to a week early, special like bonus episodes, which we can talk about now.
Yeah, we can talk about it now. We are making a podcast called Naroke Uzumaki, where we watch and rank various like isekai shows and like shows that are adjacent to isekai in like tone and content. We recorded the first episode that a few days ago. I was like working on editing it today. So, like, hopefully we'll be up on the Patreon pretty soon and, like, up in the main feed pretty soon. Just, like, give people a preview of it, see if you're interested in what we got going on there.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Come check us out. That is our tuning tier gets access to the bonus content. That's $5 a month. And for $20 a month, you become a Jonin. Thank you to our Jonin tier patrons, Maple and Izzy, the sole surviving member of the clan of people who think Neji doesn't suck. Again, thank you so much. Thank everyone for listening, for your continued support. If you want to see any of the images we talk about during the episode, you can check us out on Twitter at Konoha Crush, all one word.
We've got some real doozies for you this time. So, like,
we post about new episodes and like talk about Patreon stuff and like retweet like other like Naruto adjacent things every once in a while. You probably know what to expect from our Twitter. I stream on Twitch sometimes. That is twitch.tv/Reziart, REZIART. I have a comic coming out pretty soon, so you can check out my Twitter for that. You can find it any number of ways. And a lot of the streaming I do is like about the comics, so if you're interested in my work, like you can check me out there. It's like a lot of fun. Ruby's there a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think the vibes are great. I think it's a good time to stop by.
Yeah, the vibes are great. Good time to stop by. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. And remember, there's no such thing as filler.